My parents forced me to camp outside for Black Friday deals, then gave everything to my sister. So I made sure they'd never use them. I'm a 19-year-old guy, and I've always been the one doing the heavy lifting in my family, physically, emotionally, spiritually. I can't remember a single day growing up where I wasn't running errands, fixing something, or cleaning up someone else's mess. If I wasn't helping Mom with groceries, I was in the garage with Dad, holding a flashlight while he barked orders. "You should be grateful we let you live here," he once said, when I asked if I could skip chores to study for a math test. That line still echoes in my head sometimes. My sister Riley, on the other hand, she got treated like a guest in a 5-star hotel. Mom would make her breakfast every morning, and Dad would sneak her $50 bills just because. She got to sleep in, skip chores, throw tantrums, and somehow still be the shining star of every conversation. Riley's got potential, they'd say. She's delicate, sensitive. What was I then? A work mule? A placeholder son? I used to think maybe I deserved it. Maybe I wasn't trying hard enough. I'd scrub the kitchen floors hoping someone would notice. I'd fix Dad's broken speakers, even though he never said thanks. The best I ever got was, "That's your job. You're the man of the house." At 13, but deep down, something always felt off, uneven, like I was running a race where the finish line kept moving further away, while Riley was carried across the track in a golf cart. This isn't just another sob story about favoritism. This is the moment everything snapped. The moment I stopped trying to be the good son, the helper, the invisible backbone, because one day they pushed me too far, and I finally pushed back. Thanksgiving that year should have been a warm break from everything. You know, food, family, laughter. But in our house, holidays were just another performance of The Riley Show, with me stuck in the background like a forgotten stagehand. That morning, I woke up early to help Mom in the kitchen. I chopped onions until my eyes stung, peeled potatoes until my fingers cramped, and basted the turkey under her constant criticism. "You're doing it wrong, again," she muttered, yanking the pan from my hands. Riley? She strolled in at noon, still in her pajamas, holding a Starbucks drink and a box of store-bought cookies. Everyone acted like she'd brought the Ark of the Covenant. "Oh, Riley, these look so cute. Did you make them yourself?" Aunt Karen gushed, even though the bakery label was still on the box. Riley giggled. "Of course not. I just thought they'd be nice. Cue the applause." I sat there at the crowded dining table, arms sore, eyes heavy, listening to everyone praise her hair, her great taste, her sparkling personality. Dad clinked his glass and made a toast. "To Riley! For making it through another tough semester." No mention of me getting straight A's while working part-time and covering half my textbooks myself. Not even a glance. I swallowed my pride with a mouthful of stuffing. I told myself it was just one day. Just one dinner. But something about that evening made the resentment sit heavier in my chest than ever before. After dessert, Mom started passing around a list. A long, detailed list. TVs, gaming consoles, electronics. "Black Friday shopping," she said. "Same as last year. You're our lucky charm, remember?" She was looking directly at me. That's when I realized they had something else planned, and I was going to be their mule. Again. The next morning, I woke up to my mom tapping her fingernails on my bedroom door. Not knocking, tapping, sharp, fast, impatient. "Get dressed," she said when I opened it. "You're heading out early." Still groggy, I rubbed my eyes and asked, "Heading out where?" She held up a folded sheet of paper with highlighted sections and a giant smile. "Black Friday run. You'll camp out like last year. They open at midnight. We want to get ahead of the crowd." I stared at her, hoping she was joking, but then my dad appeared behind her holding a folded-up camping tent and a small cooler. "We packed you sandwiches and water. Don't mess this up," he said, like I was going off to war. I unfolded the list. PS5, AirPods, Dyson Airwrap, a 70-inch smart TV, luxury makeup. Half the stuff wasn't even available online. It was the limited in-store stock that people trample each other over. I blinked. "Who is all this for?" "Christmas gifts," Mom said breezily. "Mostly Riley, of course. But it's for the whole family." I felt the pit in my stomach turn to acid. I asked, "Can't we just wait for Cyber Monday or order online?" Dad snapped, "Stop being lazy. You've done this before. You know how it works. We don't ask for much." That was always their phrase. We don't ask for much. It was a lie, of course. They asked for everything. My time, my energy, my silence. They shoved the supplies in my arms and told me Gabe's older cousin could drop me off near the mall. No offer to come with me. No mention of how cold it would be. Just, don't forget the thermal blanket this time. As I packed my gloves and hoodie into the side pocket of the tent, I couldn't help thinking, I'm not their son. I'm their delivery driver. I got dropped off outside the electronics store around 2 p.m. on Thanksgiving Day. The sun was already starting to dip, and the wind cut through my hoodie like it wasn't even there. The line had maybe 5 people ahead of me, all huddled in their own tents or under thick sleeping bags. Most were pairs, siblings, couples, best friends, laughing, sharing snacks. Swapping stories, me? I was alone. Just me in a 2-man tent that smelled like mildew and disappointment. I set up my spot, used one of the sandwiches to weigh down the receipt list, and settled in. The concrete was freezing, the wind wouldn't stop howling, and my gloves weren't thick enough. I kept telling myself this was temporary. One night. That's it. I've done worse. But as the hours dragged by and the temperature dropped, my optimism started to crack. By 10 p.m., my fingers were stiff. I'd eaten one of the soggy sandwiches and half a granola bar, but my stomach still felt hollow. I kept checking my phone for messages. Maybe my mom would check in? Maybe Dad would ask if I needed anything? Nothing. I watched as other kids were brought thermoses of soup, fresh blankets, extra socks. I saw one girl's dad drive up, kiss her forehead, and hand her a brand new sleeping bag. The guy next to me even offered me some hot cocoa, and I almost cried when I declined. I didn't want pity from a stranger. I just wanted family. By 3 a.m., I was shaking uncontrollably, trying to tuck my arms inside my hoodie for warmth. My feet were numb. My phone battery had died. Still, I stayed. Not for them, but because leaving now would mean everything I'd endured was for nothing. But a voice kept echoing in my mind. They don't care about you. They never have, and for the first time I started to believe it. By the time the store doors opened at midnight, I felt like a walking icicle. My hands were stiff, my back ached, and every breath came out like smoke from a dying engine. But somehow I pulled it together. I clutched the crumpled list in my shaking fingers and joined the chaos. Inside, it was like entering a war zone. People pushing, carts crashing, alarms going off. I moved like a machine. PS5 first, then the TV, then the rest. I remembered Mom saying, "Don't screw this up," and that sentence rang in my ears like a siren. Miraculously, I got everything. Every single item on the list. It felt like I'd won some twisted version of the Hunger Games. When I finally got out of the store, cart overflowing, it was close to 9 a.m. I tried calling my mom to let her know I was done. No answer. I tried Dad, straight to voicemail. I texted both of them. Got everything. "Can you come pick me up?" Nothing. I waited. I sat on the cold curb for an hour with all their precious cargo. People passed me by with confused looks, like I was some abandoned employee on a break. My arms were sore. My eyes burned. I just wanted to go home. After calling them 5 more times, I finally gave up and texted Gabe. His house was only 15 minutes away. He showed up 30 minutes later, confused and concerned. "Dude, are you okay?" he asked, eyeing the bags around me. I forced a smile. Living the dream. He helped me load everything into his trunk, and as we pulled away, I looked back at the store. Still no call. No reply. Not even a thanks. That silence told me everything I needed to know. When I finally got home, it was a little after 11 a.m. I hadn't slept, hadn't eaten anything real, and I was running on fumes and bitterness. Gabe helped me unload everything into the front hallway, and then drove off, giving me one last look like he wasn't sure if I'd be okay. I stepped inside and froze. The living room looked like Christmas morning. Wrapping paper shredded across the floor. Ribbons dangling off opened boxes. Riley was on the couch, legs curled up in a fluffy blanket, clutching the brand new PS5 controller like it was made of gold. The massive TV I'd lugged from the store was already mounted on the wall. She didn't even look up when I walked in. Mom peeked around the corner from the kitchen. "Oh, you're back." "Good job, that was it." "Good job, no hug." "No, thank you, no, are you okay?" "Just a pat on the head, like a dog who fetched the stick fast enough." I glanced around. The Dyson was already sitting in the bathroom. The AirPods were in Riley's ears. The receipts and bags were gone. Like I'd never been part of the process at all. I asked, trying to keep my voice level. Can I try the PS5 before it's wrapped? Dad, who was fiddling with HDMI cables, scoffed. It's not for you. Why would you need one? Riley laughed softly. You don't even play games. I swallowed so hard it hurt. I was the one who froze for 22 hours in line. I was the one who fought through a stampede to grab every item they wanted. And now I was the one being told to stand aside. That was the first moment I realized something in me had snapped. Not cracked. Snapped. That night, after they'd finished unboxing everything like greedy kids on Christmas morning, I went to my room to cool off. My hands were still raw from the cold, my head pounding from lack of sleep. I thought maybe, just maybe, someone would come check on me. Maybe Riley would knock on my door and say thanks, or Mom would at least offer me dinner. No one did. Hours later, I went to grab something to eat and nearly choked on my own anger. Riley was in the kitchen, modeling a hoodie in front of the mirror by the pantry. My hoodie. The one I'd been saving for months to buy myself, the $120 limited edition one I told Mom about weeks ago. She'd said, "It's too expensive." Maybe for your birthday, but there it was. "Hon, Riley, where'd you get that?" I asked, my voice shaking. "Oh, this?" she said casually, tugging at the sleeve. "Mom said it didn't fit you right." She thought I'd like it. I just stood there. My ears were ringing. My brain was trying to process whether I'd heard that right. She smiled, oblivious. "Thanks for standing in line today, by the way. You're seriously the best brother ever." I didn't respond. I couldn't. I just stared at her. This person who lived in a world where she got rewarded for existing, and I got punished for trying. I went back to my room, shut the door, and stared at my reflection. My face looked hollow. My eyes didn't look like mine anymore. I realized then, nothing I did would ever be enough for them. No amount of loyalty, love, or effort could change the hierarchy in that house, and that's when something inside me shifted. I stopped wanting their approval. I started wanting payback. I couldn't sleep that night. My body was exhausted, but my brain was wide awake, replaying every second of the last 48 hours. The frostbite in my fingers, the blank stares from my parents, Riley modeling my hoodie like it was hers by birthright. The humiliation was boiling into something sharper. Not sadness. Not confusion. Clarity. Around 2 a.m., I sat at my desk, rubbing my hands for warmth, and opened my email out of habit. What I saw made me freeze. Every confirmation from the store, every single Black Friday receipt was addressed to me. The loyalty points? My account. The pickup notices? Sent to my number. Even the in-store payment was authorized with my name on the digital record because I was the one who handed over the family credit card and signed for everything. I blinked, my heart suddenly thudding faster. I pulled out the paper receipts from my coat pocket. My signature. My initials. I'd been so focused on surviving the madness that I hadn't realized I owned every single thing in that living room. Technically. Legally. A slow grin spread across my face for the first time in days they used me, but they were sloppy. They assumed I'd just lie down and take it like always. They didn't think I'd look at the fine print. They didn't think I'd keep the evidence, and that's when the idea hit me. I wasn't going to yell. I wasn't going to cry. I wasn't even going to confront them, not yet. I was going to be smart, quiet, strategic. Let them enjoy their stolen gifts a little longer, because soon, I'd take back everything. The next day, I met up with Gabe again. We grabbed cheap burgers at the diner near campus, and I told him everything. Every ridiculous detail, from the hoodie to the receipts in my name. He didn't interrupt. He just listened, jaw slowly tightening, until I laid the papers on the table between us. "Dude," he said finally, "this is gold. You know that, right?" I nodded. "But I don't want to blow it up. I don't want some huge fight. I want to take something back. For once," Gabe leaned forward. "You know my uncle went through that nasty divorce last year, right? Had to deal with property disputes, receipts, assets, the whole circus. I helped him dig through financial records. Learned more than I ever wanted to about how receipts can flip everything." I raised an eyebrow. "You're saying I could... what? Press charges? Technically? Yeah, you bought everything. You signed for it. If someone else is holding that stuff against your will, that's theft." He paused. "But that'd get ugly. And I know you."
You don't want a war, you want justice. I exhaled slowly.
Exactly, he smirked. So make it surgical, quiet, no fights. No yelling, just make sure they never use what they stole. The idea solidified then. I didn't need a shouting match. I didn't need their approval or fake apologies. What I needed was a plan. I'd return everything, reclaim every cent, and use it for myself, for once in my life. No drama, no revenge parade, just silence and loss. The kind that hits hardest when it finally dawns on them. They don't control me anymore. I waited until Saturday morning. I knew my parents had a brunch planned with some of Dad's co-workers, something formal and showy, like always. Riley was tagging along, of course, because heaven forbid they leave the princess out. As soon as I heard the garage door roll shut and the car back out of the driveway, I moved fast. I already had everything mapped out. The receipts were in my hoodie pocket, my backpack was empty, and the family SUV keys were right where they always were, on the hook labeled Mom's Command Center. I started in the living room. The PS5 went back in its box, barely used. The AirPods case was still on the side table. The Dyson and makeup bundles were tucked away in the hallway closet. I took it all, quietly, efficiently. I even pulled the hoodie Riley had worn off the laundry rack. It still smelled like her perfume, and for a second I hesitated. Then I shoved it into my bag. She never bought it. I did. Within an hour, the car was loaded, and I was on my way back to the same store where I'd nearly frozen to death just days earlier. Only this time I was walking in warm, awake, and with purpose. The returns desk clerk raised an eyebrow as I rolled up with thousands of dollars worth of top-tier electronics. Big regret, huh? He joked. I gave a tight smile. You could say that. He scanned the receipts. All matched. No questions asked. Within 30 minutes, I had nearly $3,200 refunded back onto the family credit card, again, in my name. I used a small portion of it to buy myself a used PS5, a durable winter coat, and a new laptop for school. Essentials. Things no one would ever borrow from me again. As I drove home, my hands didn't shake. My breath was steady, and for the first time in my life, I felt like I'd actually won something. They came back around 4 p.m., I was sitting at the kitchen table, calmly sipping tea, laptop open, earbuds in. I heard the door open, the happy chatter, the heels on tile. Then the silence. It was eerie, sudden, like a record scratch in a movie. Then I heard Riley's voice, shrill, disbelieving. Where's my PS5? Followed by Mom's. Where are the boxes? The TV remote isn't working. What is going on? And then Dad. Who touched my stuff? I didn't flinch. I didn't run. I just took out one earbud and said, everything's gone, returned. The chaos hit like a thunderstorm. What the hell do you mean? Returned. Riley shrieked, you had no right. Mom screamed, storming into the kitchen. Dad's face was redder than I'd ever seen it. Is this a joke? You think this is funny? You think you can steal from us? I stood up slowly and placed the receipts on the table. I bought all of it, I said, voice low but clear. Every single item was under my name. I waited in the cold. I signed the slips. I held the line. You never thanked me. You never even picked me up. Mom tried to grab the papers. I pulled them back. You used me, I said, so I took it back. Dad stepped forward like he might hit me, but stopped when I didn't move. Just stared at him. Daring him, go ahead, I said, hit me. Add that to your legacy, his hands curled into fists, then dropped to his sides. He looked smaller in that moment than I'd ever seen him. I walked past them all, up to my room. No one followed. No one said a word, because they knew I wasn't bluffing, and for the first time in my life, they were scared of losing me. Later that night, I heard a knock on my door. Not the usual aggressive pound of my dad or the passive-aggressive jiggle of the doorknob from Mom. A soft knock. I opened it and found Riley standing there, arms crossed, lip trembling, not from sadness, but fury barely held in check. You ruined Christmas, she said, like I'd burned down a church. You seriously need help. I leaned against the doorframe. You mean the Christmas where I slept on concrete so you could unwrap a PS5 you didn't even earn? She blinked. You're so bitter. So jealous. This is exactly why no one treats you the same. You act like a victim 24/7. Something snapped in me, but I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just stared at her. You remember what I got for my birthday last year? I asked. She hesitated. Exactly. Nothing, I said. You got a MacBook and a party? I got ignored. Every year, every damn event, you're the star. I'm the help. She tried to roll her eyes, but I wasn't finished. You think I want your life? Being handed everything, never earning it? Walking through the world like you're owed something? I don't envy you, Riley. I pity you. Her face twisted. You always make everything about you. No, I said, stepping closer. That's the thing. For once, I made it about me, and you can't handle that. She didn't say anything, just turned and walked away, slamming her door behind her like a toddler. I closed mine gently. No shouting, no slamming, no theatrics, just a quiet, growing strength in my chest. A calm I hadn't felt in years. Because deep down, I knew this wasn't over. But for the first time, I wasn't afraid of what came next. I woke up the next morning to a strange stillness. No clinking dishes, no running tap water, no Riley's music blaring from the bathroom like a daily alarm clock. Just silence. I figured maybe they were giving me the cold shoulder, which was fine by me. I needed space. I needed time to figure out what the hell came next. But when I walked downstairs, something was off. My backpack was gone. So was my laundry basket. I checked the coat rack. Empty. Confused, I opened the front door and saw my entire life in trash bags on the porch. Clothes, school books, my charger, my shoes, all stuffed into black plastic like yesterday's garbage. A folded note sat on top, taped to the largest bag. If you want to act like an adult, live like one. No signature, just the cold slap of rejection. I didn't know what hit me harder, the betrayal, or how expected it felt. Like deep down, I always knew this day was coming. I stood there for a full minute, barefoot, staring at the bags, hoping this was a twisted joke, hoping someone would throw open the door and say, "Gotcha," but no one did. I knocked, nothing. I rang the bell, nothing. I tried my key in the lock and it didn't fit. They'd changed it. That was the moment. Not the night in the cold, not the gifts, not even Riley stealing my hoodie. This was my lowest point. Abandoned. Rejected. Homeless. I sat on the porch next to my bags, breathing slow and shallow. I didn't even cry. I just stopped feeling. No plan, no anger. Just this overwhelming silence inside me that swallowed everything. I called Gabe. He picked up on the first ring. "You good?" he asked. I paused. "No," I said quietly. "But I will be." I crashed at Gabe's place that night. His older brother gave me the couch and some clean clothes, and his mom quietly slid me a plate of dinner like she didn't want to make a big deal out of it. I didn't say much, just kept staring at the wall like if I blinked, I'd disappear completely. The next morning, my phone started blowing up. First it was my aunt, my mom's sister, then my uncle, then my cousin from 2 states away. "Is it true? What the hell happened? Your mom said you stole thousands of dollars from the family. That last one lit a fuse." I asked my aunt, "Did she tell you I was the one who camped outside for 22 hours? That I froze while they stayed cozy at home? That I paid, signed, returned everything with my own name on every receipt?" She went quiet. So I sent screenshots. Photos of the receipts, the emails, the list Mom printed for me, the same one with Riley's name scribbled all over it in pink highlighter. 10 minutes later, my cousin texted, "Dude, my mom is furious at yours." Turns out Riley had posted this dramatic story on Facebook, how I flipped out, stole Christmas, and humiliated the family over a few small misunderstandings. She made herself the victim, of course, tears and all. But when people saw the evidence, the tide shifted fast. By that evening, my mom's Facebook was on lockdown. My uncle called again, this time to apologize. "We didn't know. We only heard their version. But that's messed up." I didn't say much, just thanked him. For the first time in years, someone saw the truth, and that truth was spreading faster than their lies ever could. A few days passed. I was still sleeping on couches, Gabe's, his brother's, a friend from work. I kept it moving, partly because I didn't want to be a burden, and partly because I was too numb to settle anywhere. Every time I tried to rest, my mind replayed the moment I found those trash bags on the porch. I wasn't even angry anymore. I was just empty. Then, one morning, Gabe handed me a plain white envelope. No return address, just my name in shaky cursive. "It came to my mom's place," he said. "From your grandma, I think." I opened it slowly. Inside was a folded piece of floral stationery and a handwritten note in blue ink. "My sweet boy, I just heard what happened, and I want you to know, none of this is your fault. I'm ashamed of how your parents treated you. I should have paid more attention. I see now what you've been carrying all these years. If you need a place, my door is open. I've cleaned out the guest room, no strings attached." Love, Grandma tucked behind the note, was a check for $500. I stared at the letter for a long time. My chest tightened, not from pain, but something I hadn't felt in forever: relief. Someone had seen me, really seen me, not as a helper, not as a servant, not as a problem, as family. I showed the letter to Gabe. He smiled and clapped me on the back. "Dude, go, get out of here. You deserve a soft place to land." So I packed what little I had and got on a bus that afternoon. As the city blurred past the window, I realized I was leaving more than just a house behind. I was leaving a lifetime of silence. It's been a year since I left that house. I live with my grandma now. Her guest room isn't fancy. Faded wallpaper, a creaky bed, a dresser that sticks when it's humid, but it feels like home in a way my childhood room never did. No one yells here, no one keeps score. She makes tea every night and asks about my day like it's the most important thing in the world. I started college this fall, got a part-time job at an electronics store. Funny, right? I'm the one helping kids pick out PS5s now. I still think about that Black Friday sometimes, how cold it was, how invisible I felt, but I don't dwell on it. I don't need to. Riley still posts her dramatic monologues online, cryptic quotes about toxic siblings and betrayal from those closest to you. My parents still pretend it was all a misunderstanding. Last I heard, they told everyone I ran away over a hoodie. Let them tell their stories. I'm done explaining myself. I don't regret what I did. Not for a second. Taking back those gifts wasn't about money. It was about drawing a line, finally saying, "You don't get to treat me like I don't matter, because I do. I matter." I'm not the background character in Riley's fairy tale. I'm not the workhorse son or the emotional punching bag. I'm me. And now I live on my own terms. I go to bed in peace. I wake up without that pit in my stomach. I'm learning what it means to live for me, not for people who only call you family when they want something. If you've ever been the helper, the forgotten one, the scapegoat, I see you. You're not weak for breaking. You're strong for finally standing up, just like I did.